It's an institution which is powered by innovation to ensure that everything that we do becomes very optimal for the institution. If it is investments, we like being creative, not just playing the old league of the normal asset classes where everybody is doing and the outcome is fairly the same. So we like looking at new ideas, new opportunities. So that is something which is quite very, very unique in CPF. The reason why investments are diversified, the simple reason is basically to mitigate risks. When you diversify your investments, there are cases where one asset class, for example, will underperform, but that will be cushioned by another asset class which is performing well. And based on the investment cycles, where today's we have a bullish market, tomorrow we have a bear market. So the importance of diversification is that you break that chain of a market, particularly when it's coming down, because you'll be able to have kind of an even curve where other investments will be cushioning others which are basically on a downward trend. So that way you are able to really sustain performance that is consistent across the years. The CPF property portfolio is quite interesting. You can also diversify within property portfolio. What do I mean by that? Number one, when you invest in property, for example, you can diversify property based on what we call user, or you can also diversify geographically so that you are not confining all your properties within Nairobi City, for example. So if you look at our investment portfolio, we have diversified across different property classes based on the user. For example, we'll have residential, we have commercial, we have retail, and now we have a very interesting product of a special purpose investment property which is based on a school. Yeah, so that is more or less of a new asset class within which we've just onboarded around 2 years ago. In terms of diversification based on geographical, we have spread our investment property across the country. We have a portfolio of properties within Nairobi. We have other in all the major cities of Kenya. And that way, you ensure that anything associated with a specific region, for example, is taken care by the performance in other regions. And with the coming of counties, we have new cities and towns coming up. So there are basically new opportunities coming up in other areas outside the traditional investments within Nairobi City.